Welcome back. This is episode 214 of the Veterinary Business video show. In this episode we'll learn why your staff need to be able to measure their own contribution to your business, and we'll hear some ideas about practice meetings. We'll hear about a tool which will help new vets and staff members to converse better with clients. We'll learn something about emotional intelligence, and I'll offer you my quick business tip for this episode. I'm John Sheridan, and this is the video show from Veterinary Business. I've been a fan of open book management in veterinary practice for many years, so I was delighted to come across this clip from Alan Robinson of Vet Dynamics and featured on the Veterinarian's Money Digest website. Alan says that beyond self-evaluation and client feedback, your veterinary staff need to be able to measure how well they're contributing to the business as employees. They need feedback about a range of issues, including basic financial information about the business, business objectives, and the need for profit. Perhaps the more difficult question is how best to help staff members understand the significance of the information they receive and their own specific role in contributing to practice success. What works well in your practice?
If I turn up to work every day and I work very hard, and at the end of the week or end of the month I have no idea whether I've achieved any success or whether I've moved forward. I might have had some feedback from clients, good or bad. I might have seen some animals get better, so I have to sort of self-appeal. But beyond that, what's my measure of how we're doing? What have we done? And I'm trying to contribute to your business as an employee. I need some feedback, and one of those feedback mechanisms we would recommend is some basic financial information around how is the business doing. With that needs to go a level of financial education, understanding what profit is, why it's important, how it's reinvested back in the business, how it helps me. Because profit is sort of a dirty word in some circles in the veterinary profession. We don't talk about it. And if the owner's not talking about it, they're sort of reinforcing the fact we don't talk about it. So it becomes a self-fulfilling thing. In a business, in practice, and certainly practices out there that do share quarterly information, this is how we're doing, but also feedback from clients and feedback from other team members, continuous improvement processes, any sharing mechanism that actually broadens out those four outcomes of the business around client care and patient care and financial and team harmony are going to build a culture of progression and growth. And the one tangible thing that we could share that seems to be least available to them is some sort of sense of how we're doing financially, because that in most people's minds is a sense of success in some way.
Now let's see who's on the video show Soapbox. Now for another topic which features on a regular basis in practice management discussion, and it relates to communication, specifically communication between individuals and employee groups in the practice team. Spontaneous face-to-face meetings between team members, of course, occur on a daily basis, but we also need to include formal and informal meetings involving clinicians and non-clinicians, vets, technicians, nurses, reception staff, telephone staff, IT, clerical, and other support staff. Here are some extracts from a video presentation about practice meetings from Deirdre Gelderman of Turbocharge Your Practice Team.
Many practices simply don't have staff meetings or have them twice a year or something like that. Now, why should you have staff meetings? I'm a huge proponent of staff meetings. Why should you have them? Well, there's three big reasons. Number one, there's a statistical relationship between practice profitability and staff meetings. In other words, the practices that have staff meetings are consistently more profitable than the practices that don't hold staff meetings. Second thing is communication. Exactly the same thing applies. Communication lines and communication flow, studies show, work much, much better in practices that have staff meetings than those that don't. And the third reason to have staff meetings, the third big why, is better patient and client care, as I talked about a little bit earlier. So what we do with this with this strategy is we divide the staff meetings into 4 different kinds of meeting. So the first one is strategic, the second one is operational, the third one is tactical, and the fourth one is the huddle. So strategic meetings occur every quarter, operational meetings occur every month, tactical meetings occur every week, and huddles occur every day. So the first strategic meeting of the year is going to take you probably about 3 to 4 hours, and it should occur off-site, and it should be run by the practice owner. It should, everyone needs to attend, that's compulsory, and that meeting should not occur at the beginning of the year, not in January anyway, because it's too much tied into New Year's resolutions and Christmas hangovers and everything else. So my suggestion is that it occurs in February. Now, in that first meeting of the year, you will set the whole agenda and tone for the year in general terms. As I said, the first one is going to take you 3 to 4 hours, typically off-site, over dinner or something like that. And then, so that's the first one. The second and the third and the fourth that'll occur every quarter will be more focused, will be focused on that upcoming quarter. When you get to the second of these strategic meetings, you focus on what's going to happen in the upcoming 90 days, and you also focus back on what happened in the last 90 days. That's important as well, so that the mistakes or the errors from the last 90 days aren't repeated in the next 90 days. The next one is the operational meeting. So these occur monthly. They're typically going to occur on site. Again, the owner typically runs these and everyone needs to attend. Then we have the tactical meeting. Now, tactical meetings occur on a weekly basis. They will typically take you 20 to 30 minutes, so you can just block off 1 or 2 exam slots for those meetings. The tactical meetings are run by different people at different times, and the idea is to help grow your team into being able to take up and run one of those meetings. There is no agenda, but there are minutes, and there is or are action outcomes from this meeting. So then we get to the last meeting, which is the daily huddle. The daily huddle is really how the day looks from my perspective. So this is not a sit-down meeting. It's going to take 5, 6, 7, 8 meetings. People stand in a circle and someone just says, okay, I'll start, and hopefully that'll be a different person every time on every day. Now, it's not compulsory. There's no minutes, there's no agenda, there's no action items, there's no nothing. This is how the day is looking from my perspective.
Now for a tip from the top in the business world of veterinary practice. Many years ago, I recall employing a young vet, recently married, great diagnostician, accurate, gentle and competent surgeon, and a great member of the team. But he was shy. He never appeared comfortable with clients and didn't inspire their confidence in him or in the practice. His ideal job would have been to work exclusively behind the scenes, but clearly that wasn't a long-term option in my small animal practice. My experience clearly wasn't unique. Here's a clip in which Joel Parker discusses a great tool for managers or owners to get new doctors and staff members comfortable enough to converse with clients and make them feel important.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Joel Parker and this is Whiteboard Wednesday. This week I'm talking about an idea that I got from my good friend Dr. Mark Rusak, who always had, when he hired a new doctor or new staff and sent them into an exam room, he'd say, bring back to me the color of their eyes. Tell me what the color of their eyes are. And what this very simple action did was have the new veterinarian or the new staff member confront the client. Now, what I mean by confronting is not confrontation. That's the evil cousin. By confronting, I mean they're to be there comfortably and perceive and be relaxed around the client and actually face them. And so many veterinary staff are shy and kind of like really reluctant to talk and look at clients. Yet one of the things you can do when a client's in the room is grant them importance by looking at them and acknowledging them and using their name and saying, hi, Mr. Johnson, how are you today? And looking them right in the eyes. Okay? So this little tool will be something you can use as a manager and an owner of a practice to get your new doctors and new staff to go and begin to confront the clients in front of them. By the way, the word confront comes from Latin con, which means with, and front, which means face. So it means with face. It doesn't mean confrontation and all that kind of more angry elements of the, the same word basically. It's a different derivation of it, or different definition of it. But what it means is to face comfortably without avoiding or flinching, which is what we want our staff to do. So a couple action steps here for you today. Train your staff to confront people, to be there comfortably without avoiding or flinching. People like that. Use the staff's name. Ask the staff then to report back from you after their visit into the exam room, what's the color of the client's eyes, and have them come back and you know that at least there was a little tiny bit of confronting that went on there, and make sure that they use the client's names and the pet's names.
Now for my quick business tip for this episode. Here's a clip from Ori Sislovich, a licensed vet technician, who says she wasn't taught much about emotional intelligence in veterinary school, and that working in the pressure cooker of a practice magnifies personalities and not always for the better. Here's what she had to say.
I wish there had been, in our hospital management course, that there had been a focus on emotional intelligence and how to deal with all the different personality types within veterinary medicine. Within our field, it's very stressful, and we do have all sorts of personalities, just like in any other field, but because we have the long hours, we have an intense work that we do, it's very emotional. There can be a lot of difficult conversations, and trying to get through those. I think if we can train our vet techs while they're in school to prepare for that, there will be less burnout and less cases of vet techs leaving the field really early on.
So what's my quick business tip? Well, it's this. I'm probably entirely the wrong person to make any really helpful comments here, but looking back at my early career, I can recall plenty of occasions when I had to deal with clients, colleagues and staff members about all sorts of stuff, when clashes of personality could have ended badly for all concerned. Do I think more lectures about emotional intelligence at vet school would have helped me? Probably not. How did I cope? Well, how did we all cope? By learning to be mature adults, accepting responsibility, the value of pragmatism, and behaving like the professionals we hope to become. Well, that's about it for now. I'm John Sheridan, and this has been another video show from Veterinary Business. See you next time.